This is Abby, the French bulldog. She lives in the Netherlands, where a new law under consideration could ban ownership of dogs like her. Her owners, Katja and Ilya, bought her as a puppy, charmed by her scrunched up looks. But 2 years on, they say she's having trouble breathing on longer walks. They've turned to surgery.
Around 40 minutes or half an hour, and after that she can tired.
The overbreeding that created Abby's look has led to her health issues, and the Dutch government is considering a ban on possessing and advertising all pets with attributes that cause medical issues. That includes features like overly short snouts, which animal rights activists say are cruel.
We can see that the tongue occupies almost the entire oral cavity. There's not a lot of air in there.
Dr. Hector Haar is a specialist in short-muzzled animals at the Anacura Veterinary Hospital. He says people tend to forget about the health of dogs when breeding, and that the most affected range from pugs and bulldogs to boxers and chows.
So the issue with these brachycephalic dogs, it means short face, right? And the face is so short that all the tissues that have to fit inside don't fit anymore. Also the ears are abnormally developed and very narrow. The teeth don't fit together, so they get a lot of problems there. And often there's too much skin with hairs that can poke into the eyes as well. So with a very short face, you have a lot more problems than just the obvious breathing.
The surgery to improve Abby's breathing is successful, but she'll need monitoring and follow-up appointments to track her condition. The Dutch agriculture minister has drafted a legal change for the ban after a transitional period during which owners of overbred pets will be exempt. It's not yet clear how the law would be enforced or what the penalty would be.
Email exchanges from inside the BBC, they talk about the risk of violating Indian laws. It's easier to rake up the freedom of speech debate, but does it give anyone a free pass to knowingly violate the law? America supports India because it needs India's support in return. And India is working with the US because it suits India's interests. This is how geopolitics works. Last night, he diffused a crisis with his defense minister. But today, Netanyahu was confronted with a new problem. His cabinet seems to have rebelled against him. The UK is looking at the Indian subcontinent to fill its coffers. That India seems to be negotiating from a position of power, like a partner and not a former colony. The US and Russia are dangerously close to an armed conflict. This year, 2023, New Delhi will be the capital of global diplomacy. For a country as diverse as ours, with 88% of the population illiterate, it was a very big deal to write a constitution, and that too, the world's largest. Meanwhile, if we may, here's a Republic Day gift from India for the BBC. A list of suggestions for the BBC for their upcoming documentaries. Number 1, the Kohinoor and the colonial loot. Number 2, an outdated monarchy and unhealthy obsession with the royals. Number 3, racism in 2023. We're waiting.